What's up, YouTube? Today I'm gonna show y'all some more just of the basic fundamentals, things that you should just know before you start playing in the band, before you start accepting gigs. Something else that I see that a lot of musicians don't really understand, because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of gaps in our playing. Things that we just skip over as when we were learning, when we were younger, or just starting out. It's a lot of things that certain people, they don't get the full lesson of the basics. So something else that would be very useful in your playing is knowing common tones. A common tone is basically a shared note between two chords. So we're gonna stay in the key of C. So key of C, we got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We talked about the primary chords. Your primary chords is your 1, 4, 5. So C, F, G. If you look at the 1 and you look at the 4, or you can look at it like this, because I think this is good to explain it like this. If I say play C, for a beginner, they'll play this. If I say play F, most of the time they gonna do this. And the reason why, because they don't really understand common tones and basically ease of movement. So when you look at these two chords, so I play C down here and F here. If you look at those two chords, the shared note is the C. Both of these chords contain the note C. So that would be your common tone. So technically, if I was going from C to F, I wouldn't have to change that C note. I could keep whatever finger is playing at, I can keep that note held down. So look at this. I'm going to show you every inversion of it. So root position, if I say go 1 to 4, that's C to F. So I will go C, F. I'm not moving this note. So that's in root position. So root position C takes me to second inversion F, or second inversion 4 chord. So if I move my C up to first inversion, and an inversion is basically which note is at the bottom, which note you're playing at the bottom. So in a root position note, whatever that chord is, the root note is at the bottom. In the first inversion, the third is at the bottom, and then the second inversion, the fifth is your bottom note. So let's go to first inversion C. So you have E, G, and C. And then if I say I want to go to F major, I'm keeping remember, we keeping the C as the common tone, and we just move those two notes up. So E and G goes to F and A. So that's ease of movement. So we got, and then the last inversion, you have C, second inversion, and then you want to go to F, first inversion. And I'm keeping this C held down. So you're only moving the two outside notes up. So let's do them all. We got your 1 first inversion goes to your 4 second inversion. Your 1 root position goes to your 4 second inversion. Your 1 first inversion goes to your 4 root position. And then the 1 second inversion goes to your 4 first inversion. So, and that is useful when you're playing music, because I see it all the time when beginners are playing, they jump around. It's like they doing way more work than what they need to do. So especially when you playing stuff like, I'm gonna try to not throw extra stuff in there. I gotta kind of think. Now, even if I did this, I'm keeping my common tone, and I'm just moving the other notes. So if I go C, but that's a lot of music is created like that. Is, you know, you try to move as little as possible. And one reason, especially if you have a vocalist, it's just, to me, it's a distraction to do a lot of movement. It's unnecessary, but it's also a distraction. And the more, you know, I listen to, one of my theories is I can kind of tell how mature a person is by what they don't do. So sometimes it's what you're not playing that I can say, oh yeah, he's experienced or she's experienced. Usually an immature musician is going to do everything they ever learned in one song, and then it really just takes away. Like, the more you add, sometimes it just takes away from the music. So like if somebody was singing over this, it's just, you really, and then I'm gonna show you this other chord too. So this is your one. Now something else you would hear is this. So instead of playing just the regular 4 chord, we would play, it's a 4 sus. You would see that. So you got sus 4 and you have sus 2. This is a sus 2. A sus 2 is your 4 chord, but you're throwing a 2 in there. You could, a sus 4, a 4 sus 2 chord is also a 1 sus 4 chord. So a sus 4 is when you take the 3rd out and you just move it up to the 4th note. So a sus 2 is when you take the 3rd out and you play the 2. And the sus 4 is when you take the 3rd out and play the 4. So both of these chords are technically, they're different chord names, but it's actually the same notes. And that, you come across that a lot when playing music too. A lot of chords share the same notes but different names. Like if you look at A minor 7, you have A, C, E, G. But if I move the A up, that's really a C major 6. So you have C, E, G, A. So, you know, it's just inharmonic stuff. So let's go back to that. So if somebody was singing, you want to do as little as possible. And I'm just going to take it to the sus. And you hear that a lot in music, but look at all the space that you get. And then even that, sometimes you don't want to pulse it, but you still have a lot of space in there. But if we just held it down, and if we was holding these chords, usually you would have some type of, but that's sustaining pretty good. And I'm actually using Keyscape, so they have some great pianos, a lot of resonance too. Let me turn it up a little bit. So the sustain is, you know, it's a little long with that, so you gotta it's a lot of ringing out. But usually if you have a piano that doesn't sustain long, we'll put a pad or some strings, something, you know, to feel that foundation up a little better. But that's if the singer, you know, some singers don't like this or that. Well, where, you know, when it applies, it applies. But, you know, I think that's a good lesson for that particular concept. Just remember to use your common tones. So when you know you're going from one chord to the other, dissect the chords to know what notes you that they contain, so you will know how you have to move. One more example too. If you're going to the 5 if I'm going to the 5 from 1, there's one common tone with that one too. So with the 4 you have your 1, and with the 5, the 5th note of the 1 is the common tone. So same rules apply. I'm gonna move a little faster through this one. 1 to 5. I can go down like that. That's the root position 1 to the first inversion 5. First inversion 1, I can go to second inversion 5. So I'm just moving the outside notes. And then my second inversion 1 takes me to root position 5. So second inversion 1, root position 5. So those are good, especially when you're playing music. Like I said, it helps you to move very easy. So I hope that helped y'all.